Mhm.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm running around with a chicken, like a chicken with its head cut off,
Are you?
essentially, but my head's still attached. So
So it'd be easier if it wasn't.
it would be much easier because then my brain wouldn't be thinking, you
Yeah,
know,
totally. Okay, today we're going to talk about sleepovers.
or lack thereof.
Yes. Um, Overall, everything that I've read was that a lot of people are still doing it. It's really harder to trust other people, but in all reality, you can't trust anybody
Well, no, the ones that you trust typically are the ones that have access to,
do the wrong things.
yeah,
Yes. But there's
in
there's
my
bigger
opinion.
yeah, it's not just a sexual thing, but we do need to talk about that because that is actually what most people think about when they want their children or think about their children going. So far it's a 74% in 2003, 74% of Americans would allow their children to do a sleepover.
In 2003.
And no, 2023, sorry. Did I say
Oh, okay.
three?
I thought so,
23.
but okay.
Maybe. Um, This reflects a slight increase from previous generations, as 66% of American adults reported being allowed to have sleepovers as a child. I was never home, ever. And when I say never home, I was never home. Unless I was
Yeah.
in trouble, I was at a sleepover, I was at a friend's house, I was allowed to go to a friend's house and then begging to stay there later because I didn't want to come home. It's not that I didn't want to come home. I just was having fun, and it's always nice to be at somebody else's house, right?
I agree. And that was like part of my childhood was like so many of my memories is like winning over my parents to let me stay somewhere. And like that was like
Totally.
a
Yeah.
core memory and I loved that. I still
Yeah.
look back and like love those memories
Yeah.
of being
I
like,
cleaned the whole house. Can I go to a friend's house?
right? Yeah. Or they tell you adamantly no and then like you come up with a scheme. This sounds like manipulative, but obviously our
I mean, it
parents knew what
kind
the
of
fuck we were
is,
asking and wanted.
but
Like,
yeah, but it kind of is. But if you ever noticed, most parents, their first reaction is no.
right.
So most
Because
parents
sometimes you
still
get caught
say
off
no.
guard and you're like, I need to think about it. Hold on,
Yeah.
don't just ask me
Yeah.
this like in public. Like, give me a
Yeah.
second.
Give me time to wrap my head around it and what the logistics are.
Right.
No, I totally get it.
And to like remember who the parents are.
Yeah.
Whose house are you asking to go to?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
I did have very specific friends that I learned that I just stopped asking because I knew. And like back then it was frustrating.
Yeah, because you
But
didn't know.
looking back as an adult, even without being a parent of my own, I am grateful because I look back at the times that I was at their house and there were very specific things that I didn't understand at the time,
And now you
you
do.
know, like, and now I'm like, oh, they were doing something in the basement, whether it was only smoking weed or doing
Right.
something extra, I don't know, but still at the time, I'm a weed smoker and I don't, if I don't know the parent, I don't want them smoking weed with my child. I don't know how they handle things. I don't know.
Right.
Nor would I be smoking with someone else's child. Like,
No.
like if you're uncomfy, you're uncomfy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's really crazy. But there are a lot of benefits to having kids spend the night. Um, Sleepovers at relatives' house for ages 4 to 6. Many children are comfortable staying overnight with a close relative. Um, they're familiar with the environment naturally because kids are just like, I need my bed, I need my mine, mine,
yeah,
mine. Totally.
yeah,
Ages 7 to 9, most children are having sleepovers at friends' house around this age. By this stage, they're more independent and can handle and manage basic self-care and can be away from home for one night.
right.
Ages 10 to 12 become more common between preteen years as friendships deepen and kids seek out social interactions and bond opportunities. That's a big one because most people,
I think that's when it is gonna be hard for me. Like that's when I will have to really adjust how I'm thinking about sleepovers because for one, yeah, I would like to hope that I teach him
totally.
his own boundaries, how to
Mhm.
set them, but also to be able to communicate with me if he's uncomfortable with something and I can get him out of a situation without
Absolutely.
embarrassing him in front of his friends or
Totally.
whatever. That starts with trust and explaining how and why we set the rules we do at an
Hmm.
early age. So
Yeah.
like right now he only stays at my parents
Right.
or Tyler's
But he's
grandparents.
three. He's three.
He's 3.
And
Yeah.
he has no
He's not
cousins
gonna
that are
stay
close.
anywhere else.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I'm
has no
sorry.
close cousins that are around his age. Like he's literally just a baby in the family.
I am gonna check that corn dog because it's it's it smells a little like I might have caught it on fire. But anyway, but yeah, I
I would
that
100% let my daughter sleep over at my sister's house with all her kids every time. Like when they were here visiting,
that's
they had
also
their first
different, I think.
sleepover. They were in separate beds, but in Victoria's room, and it was the best thing for them. They loved it. Both
Yeah,
little girls, they're 2 years old, and they were over the moon for this because they were so
I
excited.
bet. I bet. I mean,
Excited.
Ashley, she her girls now fight to sleep together. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like it's cute and all. But
Yeah,
like I was
but
like,
that's
do
so
they keep
sweet.
each other up? And she's like,
No.
sometimes, but
Well, so Hallie cried every time because it was a new place, a new bed, new everything. So she cried when
yeah.
my sister put her down, and Victoria would just look over at her and be like, "It's okay, Hallie."
Aw,
I'm like, "You're so sweet."
it's okay. That is
Okay,
sweet.
Hallie. So sweet. Teenagers are more independent, and sleepovers may extend longer and with larger groups. So going into that, we have some influences that can happen. Emotional, self influences like brushing their teeth, blah, blah, blah. Trust and familiarity with the family and the comfort level. If you don't feel comfortable, how are you going to sleep?
Right. And honestly, that happened with me a lot growing up. Like I would get homesick and I couldn't explain it, but like honestly, I only got homesick mostly at places that my
That you weren't
parents were
familiar.
iffy about sending me over there. Like if I was comfy, looking back, I'm like, oh, my intuitions were correct as a child. I just didn't understand
No, how
that
are you supposed
feeling.
to? Yeah,
Exactly. And that's where I'm coming in on. We have to be so brutally honest with our kids sometimes, because otherwise that
they
would
don't
be
know.
me,
Yeah,
like you don't know.
you don't know.
Because like no kid, nobody, no adult, nobody wants to just follow something because someone said so. So
Totally.
like if you can't give a legit excuse or a legit reason,
Yeah,
then there's,
absolutely. There's bigger things that play into that. Um, so then we have to go and look at the bad things, unfortunately.
at the what?
The bad things that could
That's all
happen.
I think about.
I know, and that's not healthy, but
Yeah,
it's a fear in most parents' eyes.
yeah,
The social benefits, so the plus, we have strengthening friendships, we have learning social skills. Most people don't have that as adults.
yeah,
So you have
yeah,
to learn to trust your child to make a good choice while there,
right.
basically. Um,
And I'm all
and then
for like
call
living and
conflict
learning.
resolutions. Yeah, you can't have people just like, oh, they don't want to do that. Well,
Yeah,
you
conflict
have to figure.
resolution, like I learned at a really young age. My mom, my mom is so funny. if I had people over, I remember one time her telling me like, no, you invite one of them over or none of them over because you're not going to have an odd number of girls here. And I was like, well, what the fuck does that matter? Now I'm like, oh, it makes sense because every time, it doesn't matter. Every time it would be like two against one. Or
Hmm.
like, because like if you're kind of voting on what to do,
Totally. And that's
not
actually
even
one
that
of
it's
these.
that the two are against the one, it's just, and then shit builds up and it's whatever. So my mom was always like, no, you pick one or you pick none. Like, obviously, unless it's like a birthday party or something
Well, right.
stupid
And
like that.
obviously
But
she's already playing middleman for you and Alyssa. So she's
oh
like, no,
yeah,
I'm
we
good.
did we did get
I'm
to a
good.
point where it was like if I had a friend over, she had a friend
Had to.
over also.
Oh, she
Like it
had
would
to.
be
Yeah.
like,
You have to. You have to make it even. Um, yeah.
so
So
are
then
you
going
what are your thoughts on Victoria staying the night? Like, let's make a rule of, for the sake of this conversation, of like kindergarten on. Like, say she makes a friend in kindergarten and you're meeting the parent through your child. What, how
and I don't
fast do you think?
I've never even there's no one here, if that makes sense. Like I've never even been away from her for a night in the last 2 years. She's never spent the night away from Braden and I. Never.
Oh, wow.
Like Braden, yes, because he goes to work and he's gone overnight for
Yeah,
48
but it
hours
doesn't,
to
it feels
72.
different to her because you're still there.
Yeah, that I'm still here. She's never been away from us.
Yeah.
We've never been able to do that because no one lives here. We're
Which
by
is why I
ourselves.
moved back to Missouri.
Yes.
Because
But
I was like, I have to be down the road from my parents, which
right,
I get a break every single Friday. And if for some reason they don't take him on Friday, we'll swap and they'll take him Saturday. Like,
love that. Yeah.
I'm like, and it
And
does mean,
it helps them have a deeper bond as well.
oh, of course, yeah. But selfishly, I'm like, yep, this is my Friday. Go on. Go on,
Yeah.
get.
That's okay. So everybody listening, Brittany is all talk. We all know that. She
Yeah, I have deep
will
separation
yeah.
anxiety
She
and guilt, so
will 100% sacrifice herself and stay in a house that's freezing cold and go drop off her child at her
well,
parents' house and let him stay the night so he's warm because their heater didn't work one night.
yeah.
Like
Well, I had to
don't
stay with the dogs.
okay. Like I said, don't let her fool you. She will
Um,
100% lay herself down for her child and her
yeah,
dogs.
I would. But I still need that Friday
Same.
break.
Yeah, I don't get those. I get
On
that at
Fridays, I'm
4.
like, go on, get F off. This is my time alone.
Yeah.
And
No, I
then
totally get that.
Saturday, I will shoot out of bed and text my mom, like, how's he doing?
Yeah.
She's like, he's 3 now. You've been sending me these texts since he was 6 months old. Like, he's still fine.
Yeah.
You would get a call. I will be
You
at
would
your house if
know.
there's an
Yeah.
emergency.
Yeah. Okay, so exposure to inappropriate contact. Obviously, we're talking about older children, hopefully, but I'm saying hopefully, but realistically,
Realistically,
there's
yeah.
it's always an inappropriate age. Um, there have been reports of children encountering explicit
You go.
material during sleepovers. For an instance, an 8-year-old boy experienced distress after being exposed to violent pornography at a friend's house. So obviously,
I what?
yeah, exactly. You don't exactly know, so you do have to have that whole trust thing, but you also have to trust your child to do and tell you what's happening.
Yeah.
Risk of abuse. Obviously, we know from my favorite forensic psychologist, Dr. Leslie Dobbs, um, we do know that she heard a case where a dad drugged
Mm.
all the kids
Yeah, with a smoothie, right?
and
And
had
here's where teaching and being open and honest about things was one girl had a gut feeling and didn't drink the smoothie and immediately was texting her mom. And I think that she wouldn't, right? Is this the same?
something. I think so. Yeah.
Her mom wouldn't respond because she was sleeping. It was like,
Right.
obviously super late. Well, she texted or called her aunt, and her aunt picked her
Answered.
up and would not leave without contacting the other girl's parents. And that one girl, had she not
She saved them.
like stuck with that gut
Yeah.
feeling and
Yeah.
had the
Totally.
bond with her mother and aunt to be able to like be like, something's wrong, please pick me up. Because a lot of kids would
Yeah.
be like, I don't want to be embarrassed and like in the middle of a sleepover be picked up in the middle of the night. Like something as silly and simple like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that shit sickens me because, I've got a boy, but that shit happens all the
All the
same. And it's
time.
like,
All the time. Yeah.
because I'm telling you, I've only got the one to live for. I will burn that fucking house down.
Oh, totally.
Like, I will, that dude, I don't think the cops could have even shown up without
Fast
him
enough.
dead because
No, no. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Like that's just so sad.
I mean, and
Um,
for him to even drug his own daughter to do this, it's like, how long has that been happening to his daughter? We don't know if she was
we don't,
drugged
yeah, we
to
don't know,
like
but
not be a witness or whatever, but it's
it's
like
still too sad. It's so gross.
he had that thought way too fucking quick and executed it
Fast.
in the same night. Like it wasn't like they all stayed a full weekend and then the last week, not like the last night it happened.
No.
Like this was a
Either,
one night.
yeah, you either have those feelings or you don't, and
Exactly.
that right there is so scary.
It's scary
Why do
because
you
how
have
many
those
people
feelings?
have thoughts like that
Yeah.
and feelings like that that
Why? Like I don't
haven't
get it.
acted on them. And that's why I can't trust anyone.
No, yeah, totally get it. Um, given these obvious concerns, there are some tips and tricks that you can do. You can do alternatives like lateovers, which is you have your child stay until it is bedtime. They're in their PJs, they're chilling, they're having fun, they're having all the good times, and then they get picked up and then go to bed.
Yeah. Which
Or
I
sleep
would be good for.
unders. Yeah, sleep unders is where the children participate in the evening activities and then um, they leave.
Yeah.
That's for basically for like safety concerns. Most children, like I said, they don't unless you're with siblings, they want to be in their own area. They want to have their own stuff. They
Yeah.
want to have their own
Yeah,
pillow.
because sleepovers to me was always fun until everyone else fell asleep and I couldn't. And then
Yeah,
I'm
and you're
like,
like,
I
well,
wish I was home.
why am I here? Yeah.
Right. And I also
Um,
just think like there is no reason for my child to stay somewhere else. Obviously, that will change when he's driving himself and like
right.
is more of an adult to like make his own decisions and like know right from wrong. But like kids before their freaking brains are fully developed, and obviously I know teenagers' brains aren't fully developed, but that's besides the point. You you can manipulate a child so easily
So easy.
that like
You
that
could
is what
rephrase it and then they'd be like, oh yeah, let's do that.
exactly. And that's what terrifies me, which is exactly why I am teaching mine that like if an adult is telling you this is our little secret, keep this secret from mommy and daddy. I don't care if it's about a fucking
Trusted
McDonald's
adults
ice cream.
don't
That
keep
is a
secrets.
no-no.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Trusted adults don't keep secrets. I
Exactly.
literally tell my nieces all the time that each one of them is my favorite. And I tell them, don't tell anybody. But I say it loud.
Yeah.
Like, did you know you're my favorite? Don't tell anybody. Their mom's sitting right there. I
Yeah.
want them, if I die, I want them to be like, I was Aunt Sammy's favorite. I was Aunt Sammy's favorite. I was Aunt Sammy's favorite.
Yeah. You
All
all
my
are.
favorite. Love them all. But I want them
Exactly.
to have that conversation. What do you mean? I'm the favorite. We'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see. Um,
Exactly.
tips for a successful sleepover. If you do want this, start small. Try having a half sleepover where the child stays until evening and then can dip out, basically. Choose trusted families um, that align with the same morals that align with you, obviously.
Yeah.
Prepare your child, talk about expectations, boundaries, and how to handle issues like homesickness. Stay accessible. Make sure your child knows that they can call you when and if you are needed. And I'll tell you what,
He's
my
definitely
if
not
my
staying
child was,
anywhere if he doesn't have a phone. Like,
yeah, if my child, my phone will always be on if my child's not here.
no, yeah. Like if you want to stay over at a friend's house and stay awake until 2 in the morning, I'll come pick you up.
Our
No
friend
questions
Natalie does
asked.
that all the time. She has to pick up
Does
Patrick all
she?
the time. Yeah, because he won't be asleep, and then she'll be like coming home from work at 1 a.m. after bartending all night,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, "Come pick me up," and he's 10,
See, that's perfect. That's so
11.
me. That was totally me, but we didn't have cell phones or anything. So I'd have to like go and get their home phone off the wall.
The cordless one.
Yeah. Or as
Yeah,
I got older, well, no, a lot of them had the cords on the wall, but then I would get older and people started getting cell phones. So they would only have one house phone, just like, I don't know, for
somewhere.
emergencies, I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know. And I had a friend that the phone was only in her parents' room. And I was like, how embarrassing at like midnight you're
right.
knocking, like you're wanting to call your
Knock on the
fucking
door.
parents.
Yeah,
Thank you.
like I'm all done. I'm all done actually. Yeah, I mean, I do think that most of my fondest memories are at sleepovers, but I also know that I was a troublemaker and I lied about where I was a lot. I'm just saying that it's really good that we didn't have iPhones or ring cameras or anything like that to mark your location because God, I don't know where I was most of the time. And I'm
I
talking,
think that's why those are things now because our generation and a little older is like, you know what?
yeah,
We know what we did. We're gonna keep track of our kids.
ding dong ditching and TPing houses is no longer fun.
Yeah, honestly. I think about that all the time. Me and Tyler, literally one of our first dates. I think it was our first date. We went to the movie theaters. And then it was with his best friend and then it used to be my best friend. Um, we TP'd this person's house. They didn't deserve it, but we got them good, okay? And every time we drive by there, we giggle. And I'm just like, my kid's never gonna have that opportunity to have memories like that because everyone's got a ring camera. And you
Everyone.
best believe, like, I'm not trying to be a party pooper, but if his buddies are out here TPing us, they're coming fucking back and they're cleaning it because I'm not doing it.
Well, that was like the difference between like just being mean about it. TPing mean, you didn't do it, you know? But
Yeah.
TPing to for retaliation or
It was
anything
usually
fun,
retaliation or a fun prank.
exactly. Those people show up the next day to help.
Yeah. Well, we didn't, so do feel bad.
I
They didn't
mean,
deserve it.
it was your first date. I mean, don't have
It,
mixed emotions.
it was our first date. Like, how fucking Hoosier does that sound? Our first date, we TP'd someone. It's fine.
Is it?
It's
Is it
fine
fun?
because I appreciate the memory.
Oh
But
yeah.
I am gonna pass that knowledge on that yeah, you don't just I still think about the litter. Like it's not even like they're fine. They're fine. Their house is fine. We didn't destroy anything. But I think of the litter. I am so anti-litter. I fucking hate it. And so all I think is like I hope that toilet paper was really easily disintegrated into the ground. I don't know.
God, we were mean. We put like rice on the lawn.
No, you do instant mashed potatoes.
No, we did rice.
I've never heard that.
And yeah, we had a lot of fun. We had a
But
lot of
also, you
fun.
can't really do rice. Isn't that bad for the birds to eat?
Well, this was before that.
No, it still affected the birds. You just didn't
Yeah,
know
we
that.
didn't know about it. It was before
They're
that.
not
Why don't
different
you
birds
listen?
now.
Yeah, don't listen to what you think you know. Listen to what I said. It was before that.
Oh my gosh.
No.
It was
Okay.
before we were on the internet and like had knowledge of things. Do you know how much the internet has ruined for me? So many TV shows and movies
Ask
that
my
were
sister
nostalgic.
about some carrots and they'll tell you about
About
some
the what?
carrots. Carrots.
Carrots. Oh, like baby carrots
Yeah.
being sprayed with like, yes, okay. That's so funny because I do know that and I didn't hear that from you or your sister.
No, that was just one of our conversations we had recently.
But that's so true because I used to put baby carrots in like with a pot roast because that's just easier, just fucking dump it. But no, now I have to peel real, air quotes, real carrots and chop them up because
I'm just letting
that
you
is in
know
my brain.
I don't care. I'm going to get the baby carrots because doing the big carrots and peeling all that and stuff for what?
See, I don't
I'm not
mind the
going to use
peeling.
it.
It's a little bit fun. My problem is you have to buy carrots and celery in like fucking bulk here. Like you can't just buy one carrot or two carrots.
I mean, you
So I always
can.
have to like meal plan the week. So I will have to do like chicken noodle soup and a pot roast so that
Right.
I can use all of it.
All of your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. Well, with that being said, all of you guys enjoy your sleepovers or your
Uh,
information on sleepovers and
or
or
lack
sleep
thereof.
yeah, whatever you want to do. But
Like, listen, your kid can stay the night at my house, but my kid can't stay the night at yours.
yeah, your
That's
kid's
gonna
safe
be
with
my
me. Yeah.
that's gonna be my vibe about it.
Tyler's gonna be like, what is happening? Why are
Tyler's gonna
all
be
the
like,
kids
no,
here?
actually,
Yeah. He's like, I don't.
no, they're boys. They'll be fine. I'll send Tyler to play with them too.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
Yeah,
Okay,
10
bye.